Hello everyone, this is my midterm project for CIS 3367. For my project, I have used data from Airbnb's website. And the data that I have worked with has information about New York's rooms that have been booked by Airbnb in 2019. With the help of Excel's data visuals such as pivot charts and pivot tables, I was able to figure out things such as the most popular neighborhoods in New York City and their average prices, for example, or top-rated locations and boroughs with the most occupants, and so on and so forth. These visuals help both in analyzing the data for real estate investments in the future, if you want to work with Airbnb, or analyzing them to find out the top-rated locations with the best prices for myself, so I don't get overcharged in the future. This is what I did to figure all this out. First, I had to let me show you the data that I have worked with at the beginning. This is the data that I have uploaded to my Excel. I had to create a simple table, and as you can see, my table includes several columns, and it has about 54,000 rows. The columns include the host's ID number, their names, the boroughs, neighborhoods, their location, with latitude and longitude, the room type, what kind of room they were, private room, entire home, or it's a shared place, their price, number of reviews they got, number of reviews they get per month, their availability per year, and then the days they were occupied in 1 year. I've created this little some conditional formatting on my cells here, as you can see, and it kind of shows the most popular rooms. Kind of makes it easy to see what's going on. And then here as well, this column here shows the days the days when the business in the place was occupied by. I did some conditional formatting with data bars, and they kind of show the rooms with the most amount of reviews. So for example, this one here has 430 reviews. It's in Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan. It has $79, so it's pretty amazing. It will stand out definitely. And I also did the same thing here for the days when for which the place was occupied. So for example, this one here was occupied for 365 days, for all, basically for $80 a night, 365 days. Or this one here, for example, had only 32 days of business in total. It was available for 333 days. To kind of visualize this, to kind of understand it better, I had to create some visuals in my dashboard here. But before going on to here, I had to create some pivot tables to kind of analyze the data and then moving them to charts. The first one I did was the top 10 rated neighborhoods of New York. So to do this, I had created a pivot table and then filtered the top 10 neighborhoods by the sum of their reviews, so the most reviews they got. So these neighborhoods here have the most reviews in entire New York. So as you can see here, to kind of visualize this, I had to move them to my dashboard. So this is my first chart. As you can see, it's a pivot chart. It clearly shows the 10 neighborhoods with the most amount of business. But there was a very interesting thing that I had observed. I've also added the sum of the days occupied, so the total business they got throughout the year. So as you can see here, places with the most reviews have the most business. So this is a nice little correlation here, positive correlation. So which means that the more reviews you get, the more business you have. As you can see clearly and nicely, there's a nice little correlation here between my column charts and my line. The second visual that I have created was the average price by home type, so per borough. So to do this, I also have created another pivot table here, and then made another pivot chart based on this table and move them to my dashboard. Here you can see my chart that shows the room types and their prices per borough. Let's say I want to find the cheapest place available in New York for one night. That would be the shortest bar, which is here. Brooklyn, a shared room will cost me about $50 in average. Or let's say I don't want to get overcharged. I want to stay in Manhattan. I want to rent let's say a private room. Private room in Manhattan will cost me about $120. If I pay, if somebody asks me for $200 a night, I'll definitely know that I'm being overcharged. So this whole thing here was very, very helpful. Third chart I did was the most popular room types. This data here, it's another pivot table, will help me, I think, in the future to decide what type of business I want to do with Airbnb. For example, let's say I have a place in Brooklyn that I want to rent out. The best option for me would be to rent the entire home, entire apartments, so I'll get the most number of days and the most business and the most price for it. I mean, the highest price for it as well. Or let's say I have a place in Queens. The best option for me would be to rent private rooms because it has the most amount of business and a decent amount of price for it as well. Fourth thing was top 10 hosts, to kind of find out who the big people in the business are. So a person with the name of Michael has the most business in entire New York City. He has about 11,000 reviews in total and 113,000 days of business. So he has probably more than one apartment in entire New York. So the data was based on this very easy chart here, which was also filtered by the top 10, like I did before, and moved to my dashboard as well. To kind of filter out all the unnecessary information from this chart, I had to create this nice slicers here. As you can see, let's say I just want to look at information in Brooklyn. I just hit in Brooklyn and automatically show me top 10 neighborhoods of Brooklyn. So I probably want to be in Williamsburg or Bedford. Or it would also show me the prices. Let's say I want to prices, or let's say I want to invest. It will also give me some information here as well about the popular room types, or the top 10 hosts. So these are the people I want to have business with if I want to invest, or these are the people I want to have business if I want to get a nice room because I've got the top service. Or let's say I want to choose between Brooklyn and Queens, so I just press Queens here, and it'll select me both of these neighborhoods here. Show me the top. It will show me that Astoria is also good here. Give me the comparison of the prices. And the last thing I did was to kind of allocate the people who come here, who come to New York, by the boroughs. So to do this, it was fairly easy. I've created a pivot table here, added the boroughs as raw labels, and then some of the days occupies, basically how much business they got throughout the year. I moved this as a pie chart here to my dashboard. As you can see in my dashboard, 44% of people who come to New York stay in Manhattan. You can also see this in this little map that I've created as well. So the most people stay in Brooklyn, in Manhattan, because that is where most of the tourist stuff is, I believe. And then it's 43% Brooklyn, so it's fairly close. And then we have Queens, then it's Bronx, and then it's Staten Island. To create this little map here, I have imported my data from my data set, so my latitude and longitude, and then I've created a 3D map by the use of Excel tools, and then imported it here. This little lesson here was really helpful for me, and I think I'll use a lot more in the future, and I hope you have enjoyed this video as well, and will use these lessons for yourself to analyze big data in the future.